Hey everyone, it's Desiree, and I am here with Spellbinders, and can you believe it? We are in April. Where did the first quarter of the year go? As always, I'm here with the 10 cards from the April card kit of the month, and this is titled Sincerely Yours. But first, we always start out with the reveal. So with your kit, you're going to receive your card with some inspiration, give you some ideas, and also it tells you what the contents are within your kit. Your cardstock is a gold mirror, a navy blue, a bright pink, yellow, purple, pink, also a light blue, a light green, and a dark green. In your kit, you're going to receive a paper pad, and it's 6x6. With some beautiful images. Now remember, this is a paper pad. This is not a cardstock. This is not a 110-pound pieces of paper. I think these are in the area of 65 pounds, and these are perfect for layering. One of the things that I absolutely love when it comes to this kit is collaging. I love to collage with these items, whether it's the papers, whether it is the die cuts. You also get your 10 envelopes and your 10 card bases that are already scored and folded, and they are standard A2 size, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and these cards are side folding. You get a roll of double-sided tape, a square of double-sided foam squares, some sequins. You're going to have some dimensional stickers, both puffy and 3D. Here are the die cuts that are available, or that will be available in your kit. You have some great images, again, from animals to florals to tickets to notes to sentiments, everything. It's all sitting there. Here is your stamp set where you can build your rainbow or have a great cup with the flowers coming out, some sentiments, and then, as always, your dies. That creates the most adorable envelope. That's 3D. All right, so let's get started with our first card. So, first card, I've already pre-cut panels and so forth. So now we are just having fun and creating our layers. Now, one of the things that I always like to give a little tiny explanation on, I don't measure my panels. I just have fun with it. I pull out my paper trimmer. I have the Tim Holtz 8.5 paper trimmer, and I just cut my panels down. Now, when it comes to the base panel, I'm either cutting that to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, or I'm cutting it 4 by 5 1/4 so that I have the border and I can use the card base itself as that border for the mat. If I have a mat, then I'm definitely going to cut that at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, unless I want a thin white border going around the outside. Remember, our card bases are white. You can use that as part of the mat process. This one here, I focused in on the tags that came in the die set. So I have one panel, and I have that all the way over to the other side. And then I have another panel, and these two are going to cross. And I'm just going to put them on top of each other. I will trim the edges for those areas that are hanging over. I'm going to glue down the first tag, and then I'm going to bring in the other tag. So it's going to look like a fan coming off of each of these. I did dig into the puffy stickers so that we can have some dimension onto our card front. You can use a ruler to put your sentiment down. That's too long. You know, have fun with it. Again, we are not Hallmark people. We do not need to have all of our pieces be absolutely perfect, right? Everyone say right. You all know it's right. It's okay if there's a little bit of a mistake. Makes it interesting. So now I have a panel. You can see that is cut to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and then I cut a strip, and then I cut it on an angle. I'm going to have that piece come down onto the lower left-hand side. I'm going to have my flowers there, and we're going to prop them up using some of the foam squares. And then we're going to take the heart, and the heart's going to sit right where those papers meet. So it's almost like this was meant to be, because you can't really see the edge. So it's kind of gives you that illusion when it's really up higher. So it's kind of cool. I'm going to come in with some of the sequins just to add some shimmer and sparkle to the front of the card. Remember, it's a kit. Everything will match. Everything coordinates. No matter how different it looks. That's the beauty of kits. Everything does work together. So here I have a piece of pattern paper. Again, we are going to create some layers. I'm using the double-sided tape so that I can get this down onto my card front. Now I'm just having fun with all of the dies or the die cuts that have already been set. And I'm just setting all of my pieces in place. I'm using one of the die cuts as my sentiment up there in the upper right hand corner. I'm cutting some pieces so that I can get them underneath and stretch out those die cuts to just give a little bit more room. We're going to add some sequins to the front of this as well. And that is that card. Again, playing with some panels, playing with the double-sided tape to get these adhered. You can tell, if you've seen my videos before, when I usually do this kit, I usually do pull in the solid cardstock and use it as mats. What I'm showing here is you don't necessarily have to do that. The paper itself will mat itself because of the different patterns that are on each other. By using the solid cardstock, you're actually making it become a focal point, if that's what you're looking for it to do. And again, that's my opinion. Okay, that's what I look for it to do. When it comes to pattern paper, I love to say, let it do the work. A lot of times you can just take your pattern paper and let it do the work for you. It's already got a beautiful image. It's already got a beautiful placeholder when it comes to the focal points. You don't have to add anything to that if you don't want to. And that's the beauty of pattern paper, depending upon the pattern that it has. You know, if it's got a beautiful watercolor flower on it, let it do its work. All right, and there are so many out there that are like that. Oh yeah, absolutely. When it comes to what I love about the double-sided foam square is you can just cut it and use the whole thing. That's the awesome part of that. So I'm going to have the florals come off of the wreath. I have that using some dimension, and now the individual pieces, I'm going to set them just in the back, but have them flush up against the base of the card. And then I'm going to come in with some sequins to the center of the flowers. And that is that card. So here I kind of chose the bright colors, kind of focusing in on the rainbow type a little bit here. And I'm going to set that panel straight down. And I'm going to set the rainbow. Now I am using one of my wax pencils to pick up my sequins. And I'm using Friends as the as part of the sentiment, and I have the other half up on the other top. So, and instead of using clouds, I'm actually using the stamps as the ending for the rainbow, and we're just going to add a few sequins. Again, think outside. You know, it doesn't always have to be a cloud at the end of the rainbow. It can be anything that you want it to be. So we're just going to add some sequins around that, again, just to give it some shine and sparkle. Very minimal die cuts that are going to be used for this because, again, the pattern paper has a great, great design in it already. So we have all of these birds. So I pulled out the sunshine, and I'm actually using the bird die cuts. So you can see they don't get lost on this piece of pattern paper. And I'm adding the sentiment, favorite. Again, we don't have to say any more than that. I'm very different when it comes to my sentiments. There's a lot of times that I really don't even put one on the outside. Because I like them to be note cards, whether it's a birthday, Christmas, or anything else like that. I mean, I want them to have a theme, you know, a look, but, you know, very rare am I putting sentiments on the outside of my card. I think it's funny. This is a prime example. Beautiful, beautiful piece of pattern paper. I'm using one of the sentiments that were in the die pack. I'm using the double-sided foam squares. I'm just cutting that in half, and I'm simply putting laughter at the bottom corner. And that card is done. And it's beautiful. So as always, I had super fun doing all of my die cutting. So I'm actually just inking up. Here's the envelope that it creates, and it's a 3D envelope. So I mean, you can make it be an enclosure, but it's meant to actually be coming up off of whatever it is you're putting it onto. So I'm actually putting this on the outside of the front of one of my cards, going directly onto the card base. So what I'm pretty much creating here, it's going to look like an explosion, a floral explosion coming out. When it comes to that. Now you can see my vintage photo is there. Sorry about that. I had to grab something, so I stepped away for a second. So I used my vintage photo for around the envelope, and I am going to go around the flowers. Yes, they are bright flowers. You don't have to. I do like to use the vintage photo to do this. I don't think that it ruins anything. I think it adds to the image that I'm working with. But again, it's all about personal preference. If you are not one that likes that, then I highly recommend don't do that. You could use a dark yellow, you could use, the colors that match these, or again, you can just leave them alone, and they will absolutely be fine. So getting all of these pieces ready, now we're going to do some layering when it comes to these. Now, what's great is you've got a lot of possibilities. What I chose to do was just put the gold centers inside of the flowers. Just saying. Now, you could actually layer up all of these flowers. You can put the skinny petals on top of the bigger petals, and then you could offset the half petals. I mean, you could really have a lot of fun with all of these and create so many different variations of each of these flowers. So I have my box, my half of my box ready. It's all set when it comes to that, and we're going to set it down onto my card base. Now, I am using the double-sided tape for this because their double-sided tape is very strong. I'm putting in the back piece, and I'm just throwing in some glue back there just so that I can get this in place. And I'm using my paper creaser to push down. Once that's there, now we're just going to have fun. Some of the flowers are going to be propped up. Some of the flowers are not. Now we're just going to have fun putting our flowers all over when it comes to this piece. Lots of liquid glue are going to be used to this because, again, it does allow for them to be held quicker. So I chose my art glitter glue, and I'm just having fun placing these around, having fun, and it's just making it look like we've got this beautiful floral explosion of spring coming out of this envelope. I do not add a sentiment to it. I just let all of these flowers do all of the talking and amazement that they want. Some leaves are being stuck to the front of the envelope. Some of them are being put towards the back. By putting them to the front, you do get that dimension when it comes to these pieces. But it's a fun thing to build. You don't have to use the envelope. You could put like a garden along the bottom of your card. So there's all kinds of choices that you have. And now we're just going to fill in with the greeneries, and I'm going to add my little forget-me-nots because I think they are just absolutely adorable. Love the little forget-me-nots. Adding the smaller leaves around them. And I use the darker leaves for the inside of the envelope, so you have the difference between the two. I'm going to add some sequins to the center. That one's giving me a problem, and probably because I put it on upside down. Yeah. Too much fun. All right, and again, you can put a little tiny note inside that envelope if you want. But as always, I do hope you enjoy the projects or the 10 cards that we created featuring Spellbinders card kit of the month for April. I know, April. Sincerely yours. So please enjoy. As always, everything will be linked down below to their blog for more inspiration, their shop, and especially the link to all of the club kits that they have available. If you have any questions, please make sure you reach out and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Remember what I always say, smile, enjoy, have fun with this process. Don't stress, but always be creative. Till next time, guys, take care.